with less, and you can always add more. Remember, I'm using retail, so I'm having to hold the bottle and pump. In back bar, you're gonna have a really nice bottle, like nicer than those, but that kind of where you pump it in. So you can start with less and it's easy to grab more. It's different than this where you're like, oh, I gotta pick up the bottle and pump, but this is a retail bottle. So get used to about a quarter size. Dry face, dry hands, always with the oil cleanser. And remember, if you remember from the training, our oil cleanser is unique in the way that there's 2 bipolar fatty acids. So there's not a double cleanse in this protocol because you double cleanse in one product. I'm not telling people they don't need to double cleanse, but it happens with one product instead of 2 with us. So the first cleanse, I'm gonna be mindful of her shirt.
Yeah, I can push it.
There you go. Thank you. That way we can get the benefits of the mask down there. So you want to see how I'm sliding on the skin, but I'm not like tugging at the skin. When you use the oil cleanser as your massage medium later, you'll use less because you're not trying to slide all over. You want to be able to manipulate those tissues. But during the cleanse, we want to have some nice slide, but we don't want them dripping in oil. If she had makeup on, this would go right over the makeup. You'll see the makeup lift from the skin and sit in the oil. So the first part of this, not only are you introducing your touch, but you're also, the oil is breaking up oil and debris. It's also the metafoam oil and the sunflower seed oil are pulling from the pores. So think of like oil pulling. And it's the oil that cleanser, it's wrapping around all of that. So it's grabbing it, breaking it up, and then it's wrapping itself around it. So think of all the debris, makeup, pollution, sunscreen, anything that's on the skin is now all wrapped up in this oil. It's no longer in the pores. So you'll focus, because it's really easy when we have a cleanser, oil cleanser, or a cream, we treat it like a facial massage. Don't forget that it's a cleanse. So focus on the T-zone. And you really want to do this for at least a minute so that you can get a very thorough cleanse. If they have makeup on, you're going to use more oil cleanser. You're not going to cleanse twice. You're just going to use more of the oil cleanse. Okay? There's towels in that cabbie. They're hot. Just one. Thank you. So before you use the towel to remove the oil cleanser, you're going to add water. Water is your second cleanse. So remember, bipolar means oil loving and water loving in this case. Right now we're in an oil loving state. We've attracted all the oil, we've attracted all the debris. As soon as I add water, we're going to go into a water loving state, but this water is then going to wrap itself around the oil. So instead of being opposite, it's going to wrap itself around like a micellar effect. So when you put the water on, you're not going to massage this in very long. You really are just using this to wrap around the oil. You'll feel it go from, and she's going to feel it too, it's going to feel like water now when it goes on. It's a really cool feeling. It's a cool feeling for you too. But you don't want to keep massaging this in because then you're just working everything back into the skin that you removed. So this is, you're going to hear me say it to everybody today because we can't help it. Once it's in our hands, we want to just keep massaging it. And it's okay. I was there too. So I usually do the décolleté first so that I'm not like dripping water on them. I'll do the décolleté in a couple of swipes. Feel how that doesn't feel like oil anymore? And now I'm going to grab a little more water. That's all that is water. And I'm going to do the face. Try not to get it to be running down. Depending on the skin tone, you'll see different emulsification. So see, it's really easy to want to keep going, but now I'm going to remove it. So the real cleanse comes in when you're working it dry with the oil. If they have a lot of makeup, you use a little bit more oil and you massage it a little bit longer. The water part is always going to be quicker. Is that temperature okay? So when they use it at home, same thing. They use it on dry skin. If they're going to shower, they put it on before the shower and then massage it in or cleanse with it for a minute before they get in the shower. When they get in the shower, they're going to get their hands a little bit wet. Just do this a couple times and then they're going to completely rinse it. If they're not showering when they're washing their face, maybe they shower in the morning and they don't shower at night, or vice versa, they're still going to work the oil in dry. They're going to get it wet. They can either splash the skin to rinse it, but we all know that makes a mess. But they're going to get it wet and then they're going to remove it. Maybe they get a clean hand towel wet and wipe it, or one of those, what were they called?
The Clean Club.
Clean Club.
And you were saying before that, you know, we use the cleanser again with the exfoliant, and then we actually use it again when we massage them. And each time you're like emulsifying it and removing. So they're really getting like a good cleanse.
Yeah, so adding a double cleanse right here is like
Unnecessary.
But also at home. I didn't trust it at first because I've been an esthetician for 20 years and I've always double cleansed. So when they told me, also real quick, if you get oil cleanser in the hair, just get it wet. And then it will emulsify, you know, so you don't have to worry about this coming off and on. I didn't wrap it very well. But so I didn't trust it at first at home because I've always double cleansed. I have oilier skin, larger pores. So literally the first week I was using it, I would do exactly what they said, and then I would take a white cotton round with water, and I'm like, wow, there really is no makeup coming off unless I forgot it on my hairline. So trust the process. Even at home, they don't need to wash 3 times. It's just about getting used to using the oil dry, getting it wet, and then removing it. So for the enzyme, remember the oil cleanser is the vehicle to get the enzyme to where we want to exfoliate, because the enzyme activates in you're good. The enzyme activates in a 1/4 second. So if it gets wet before it's on the skin, the bowl, the brush is getting all the benefits instead of the skin. So the oil cleanser is designed, and again, you're not going to go by pumps, because like back bar pumps are massive. Like 1 full back bar pump would be way more than you need to cleanse the face, neck, and décolleté. But it's hard to tell someone 1/4 pump, 1/2 pump, because everybody's idea of that's different. So get used to how much product you see. So what you're gonna see in here is that just the bottom of the bowl has product in it. We'll pass it around. I'll keep the brush this
Okay.
time.
We dropped it before.
Okay, so that's just oil cleanser. There's no water, and this is a dry brush. Your back bar enzyme comes like a baby powder, so if it's locked, you just spin this top part, this very top part. And Great British Baking Show, anybody watch it?
Yes.
Okay, so we are cooking right now, not baking, but we are going to end up with a meringue. Don't worry, it'll make sense even if you don't watch the show. So what I'm saying is that your amount doesn't have to be super exact, but if you wanted to make it exact, it's about a 1/4 size of the oil cleanser, and it's about 1/8 of a teaspoon or a dime size of the enzyme, but eyeballing that is challenging. So dry brush, you're going to mix this kind of slow because the enzyme is really loose, but I am going to pass it around. Try not to drop the brush, okay guys? Because I want you to see, look, there's hardly, like, all the product is in the brush. So I want you to pass around so that you see, don't drop the brush, that is enough product for the face, neck, and décolleté, and it's not a ton. In fact, once I use that brush and put it on the face, there's nothing left in the bowl. But remember, it's not about having a big, thick layer of this oil cleanser. We're just trying to get the powder onto the skin. We've already cleansed with the oil cleanser, so the oil is just a vehicle to get the enzyme onto the skin. So now I'm gonna just apply a thin layer. And again, it doesn't need to be thick, so you can bring it down. And don't get too caught up in the brush. We all turn into Picasso when we get the brush in our hands. It's gonna feel like I'm moving you through the hands-on quickly today. But you'll have more time in the actual facial. But a lot of people are here on their days off, or they traveled to be here, and so I want to make sure that everybody gets a chance to give and receive without keeping you here all day. So you'll see there's no product left in here, but I'll still move my brush in there to grab the powder. But can you see this is a really thin layer? It doesn't look like she has a ton of product on. How's that feel?
Good.
So right now, no exfoliation has happened. It's just an application. If you decide to use steam, you can start the steam at the point in the cleanse after you've done the cleansing before you get it wet. You can add the steam there if you want. No steam is required, so don't feel like you have to. If someone's feeling hot or they're compromised and you're not going to use steam, you can do the whole facial without steam and still get incredible results. So right now, nothing's activated. Now, if somebody comes in with thick, more resilient skin, there's a little bit of a physical sensation with this, but this is not meant to be a scrub. So you would have to use 2 to 3 times as much enzyme powder to get it to be a scrub, and it's not necessary. But if you want to kick it up a notch, we can go in. I'll usually stick to the T-zone. And how does that feel? It's very light, right? Like there's not grit. It's very fine. You'll probably feel it more than they'll feel it. And I'll just focus on their T-zone or any area that feels like it needs it. Just be careful under the eyes. That area tends to be a little sensitive. Give a little bit of love to the neck and the chest because it's a little bit more resilient. And again, that was just a physical exfoliation. Now, when I started with the company, we were just getting this brush wet and activating the enzyme. The steam activates it too, but you need a little bit more than just the steam. So when I started, that was great, but then the water was like running down the ears or it was like pooling in the eye area. So I went back to my, what was it, Dermalogica days? and it wasn't even their enzyme, it was their disincrustation solution that you had to whip up like that.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like, I wonder if I can get this because it'll get a little bit foamy on the face. Let me see if I can whip it here. So what I'm about to do is purely sensorial. It doesn't change the efficacy of the product. If you would rather go in with wet hands and activate this, you can. If you just want to go in with a wet brush, you can. But I'm going to show you something that makes it feel a lot better. And I'm barely using any water. I'm putting enough in there to kind of coat the brush. Can you see that?
Yep.
So it's just enough. Try not to drop the brush. So you don't have to put more oil and enzyme in there because there's enough left in the brush and there's enough left in the bowl for what I'm about to do. So very little water. The more water you put in here, the harder this next step is. So just enough really to get the brush wet. And then I kind of go down the sides. This is where the meringue comes in. So a lot of people in the first group, they're stirring, and that works too. It's gonna take you a lot longer. So think of whipping it, okay? We're making our meringue. See how much creamier it gets when I whip it? Like if I'm stirring it, think of whisking, I guess is what we said, right?
Vigorously
whisk. Okay, so now we're working with a foam instead of just water. So the beauty of foam is it stays where we put it without dripping down the face. Now if you accidentally added too much water and it's a little bit runnier, start on the décolleté and get some of it out on the neck and décolleté, and then don't add more water, just whip this a little bit more. So kind of running out. I don't need to add more oil. I don't need to add more enzyme. Little splash of water. It's like the gift that keeps on giving. Because it's not about making more product here. That's where the misunderstanding comes in. It's just about getting the product wet that's on the face. We just happen to have enough left in the bowl that we get to make this foam.
It feels so good. You'll love it when you're getting it.
Yeah, you'll really like it.
It feels amazing.
When it's on for the guest, they're just really feeling what feels like a cream go on the skin. And then maybe a little bit of the effervescence of the bubbles popping. It feels fresh on the skin, but it's not your typical tingle/stingle that you'll normally get from an enzyme. Can you confirm that? Or what's your sensation?
It feels good.
It's refreshing, but it's not like, oh, on a scale of 1 to 10, let me know.
Right.
We can kind of leave that part out of it. It's a protease. I need to get one more towel. There's a protease and a lipase in there. So protease and lipase are smart. Protease is gonna, thank you. Protease is gonna go after protein or dead skin. Lipase is the lipo, goes after lipid or sebum. But it's not like a fruit enzyme or an acid. Acids are loosening up that intracellular glue, essentially, right? That's holding on the dead skin. So there's a chance you can over exfoliate because you've loosened all the skin, whether it's ready or not. Fruit enzymes, they operate a little bit differently than protease and lipase. Protease and lipase are what we naturally create in our body. We get them through a fermentation process for the skin. So they're gonna stop when there's like the only skin that's ready to come off or only the excess oil. So we can't really overdo it. This enzyme technically stays active for 3 to 5 minutes, but it does its job in a quarter second. So really by the time you start applying the foam to the face and you work down to the neck and you do a couple of fun little brush strokes, you're ready to remove it. It's not like at 5 to 7 minutes it's gonna get stronger. It's doing its job in that quarter second. So it's not like the longer you leave it on, the better it works, but you also don't have to worry if, I don't know, maybe they're in the middle of you putting on the enzyme, they're like, oh my God, I need to use the bathroom. You don't need to worry about getting it off their skin first because it's not gonna overdo it, if that makes sense. But it is a little bit of education for them because they're probably used to exfoliants either being gritty or having more sensation. So really educating that, because I've had people tell me, I just don't think the enzyme's strong enough. I said, talk me through it. Well, when I put it on, and I say talk them through it. I don't ask them a bunch of questions. I'm not like, did you apply it dry? Did you try to scrub it? Because they'll just agree with you. So I'll say, talk me through what you did. Well, I mixed it and I just didn't feel like it was very gritty. Okay, and then what did you do? I put it on the skin, I didn't really feel the grit, and I wiped it off. So they tried to use it as a scrub and they never activated the enzyme. They never got it wet. So I'll be like, okay, perfect, I get it. There's a lot of different products. We don't want to make them feel stupid. I say, I get it. There's a lot of different products out there. I'm going to have you change what you're doing slightly so that you can get the maximum results. So it's not meant to be a scrub, so don't worry about that gritty feeling. The magic happens when you add the water. So we didn't make them feel stupid because there are a lot of different products and they're all applied a little bit differently. And then we also want them to maximize the results of the products that they invested in. Everybody likes that when they get that kind of verbiage and feedback. So we're going to thoroughly remove the enzyme because putting the foam on it is what activated it. Now, I'm not going to demo facial massage, but this is where you would go in and you would do extractions if you had it. We don't have a toner. We have a mist, but it's not supposed to be a toner. So let's say you did a bunch of blackheads. I would just take like a wet cotton round or 4x4 and wipe off the debris. But then when you go in with the facial massage with the cleansing oil, again, I'm not going to demonstrate that, but when you go in with that, don't forget there's hinoki wood in here, and hinoki wood's antimicrobial. So if you want to get the debris off, fine, just wipe it. But when you do the facial massage, you'll be going in and getting that antimicrobial that you would normally use a toner for. Plus, once we remove that, right, because then we'll emulsify it and remove it, we go in with the mask. The mask has TSC in it. It's also antimicrobial and anti-inflammatory. So we're doing everything that a toner would do without completely wiping out and stripping the skin, okay? And don't worry, they'll still get a mist, which I'm not gonna forget to do this time. So we've exfoliated, we've then done extractions, we've then done facial massage and removed it. And now we're getting ready to apply the mask. You always want to shake this mist before you apply it. Give them a heads up, I'm going to mist you.
It smells so good.
Yeah, all of you will get to, there's limited in there, but you all get to spray it today, so you'll get to, but it's our most potent smelling product. It's hinoki wood, it's very grounding, and it's not gender specific. So I like to mist that on the skin beforehand. Remember, eye masks do not come in every facial, it's an enhancement. But if you remember from the training, the eye mask has an additional molecule and caffeine in it. So same exact base formula as the face mask, but because we have the added ingredients specific for the eye area, I want to make sure that the eye masks are on first, and then we can put the face mask over it. I've had people in training say before, well, doesn't the face mask go over the eyes? It does, but it doesn't have the QFC molecule and the caffeine. Remember, QFC from training is what breaks up the free heme that causes dark circles, but also increases the hydration pathways under the eyes. So it's great for fine lines, puffiness, dark circles. Eye mask, there's no right or wrong way. My preference is I like the wide end on the outside because I like to cover more of the crow's feet area. Some people like the wide end on the inside. You get to choose that as the professional. You remove the perforated piece, and the side I remove that from is the side that's going to go on the skin. There's a blue layer over it. That blue layer is to help you move and place the mask because biocellulose is slippery. So I use the blue piece to get the mask on. It takes a little while to get used to these. And then I remove the blue piece. So today, everybody's going to get to experience the face mask on, but Brian and I gifted everybody a set of eye masks to use at home. Now, this is not biocellulose, this blue piece of fabric, but it is fully saturated in that liquid gold. So what I'll do is I'll put it right on the lid while I get the other mask on so that some of that solution can get onto the eyes. So again, peel off my perforated piece, keep my blue piece on, blue towards the sky, using blue to place this. Removing the blue piece, making sure that the biocellulose, so if she were to turn her head, it stays on. If you're at home and you want to stay, I usually say you have permission to relax at home, but if you need to be doing, because we can't help ourselves, if we need to be doing 20 other things while we're masking, we can get up and move and these masks aren't sliding around. Now the face mask is going to go right over the top. Even though this fabric is soft, if you were to put the biocellulose on there, you're kind of blocking the biocellulose. I really just put this on there to transfer the solution. Then I can work that into the eye area. Then I'm going to apply the face mask over the top. Now this has a ton of solution in it, so I like to squeegee it down a little, so that when I grab the mask out, it's not dripping. Now, as you're getting used to, and you might already have biocellulose masks, but when you're getting used to doing this, open it up over the table. You drop this mask, this is a $9 drop, okay?
Good tip.
So I open it over the table. I'm gonna remove the perforated piece, but I'm not gonna throw it away. I'm gonna just leave it in half, open on the table there. There's a reason for that, okay? The side I took that from is the side that's gonna go on the face. Again, you'll see a blue side. The blue side feels a little, it's fabric versus biocellulose. I reach my fingers in there to hold the nose up, and I apply this right over the top. You're gonna love this, it's nice and cooling. I use the blue to kind of look over the eyes. That's where I try to line it up, over the eyes. Don't worry about smoothing this blue part out. Just kind of get it to where it's pretty much where I want it. So eyes are centered. Again, you don't need to press this mask down because the blue part comes off. I found, this is personal preference, I found side to side is better than up and down because the mask stays put. Up and down, sometimes you pull it up into the eye or down around from the eye. This would normally get thrown away. It's fully saturated in that solution. Save it. You're going to put it right on top of this piece of plastic. The reason you're putting it on the plastic is because if you were to put it directly on the towel, it would soak up all that solution, and we're going to use that. So now you go in and you make the mask fit. There is a lip treatment. I want everyone to stand up and look at this really quick. Do you see how this top piece is over both of her lips? The top piece is over both of her lips. The best thing you can do, you don't want to miss the upper lip. You want the slit to be in between the lips. That way, if she were to open her mouth to breathe or to talk, there's not a solid piece, but also we don't want to not mask the upper lip. So now you're just going to go through and you're going to make sure that the mask is adhered to the skin. So this is where you can smooth it out. Don't get too picky about it, like that rolled up a little bit, so I want that to cover more space. And then, see how that rolled in? For the nose, if it hangs over the nose like that, you can either fold it back, or what I'll do usually is I'll just pull it up a little. I find sometimes when I fold it that I fold too much. I want as much covered and touching the skin as possible. So we do have the eye mask underneath, and these actually fit pretty well, but you know, sometimes you'll have a gap right here and the mask will be lifted. You want every part of the mask touching the skin. So if that happens, this is how you size it. You just reach in, don't go under because you could easily poke them in the eye. I go over, and you can just stretch the biocellulose a little, and then you can get it to fit and lay exactly where you want it if you need to. If someone's claustrophobic and they don't want this over their lips, I'll do the same thing. I'll reach in, I'll pull it, I'll fold it down, I'll fold it up, and the lips are exposed. But if they're fine with it, this is a wonderful lip treatment. We don't have a lip product. So remember, this is not your typical sheet mask. Did I already say this? It's hard when I do 2 trainings in a day. This is not your typical sheet or collagen mask. It's made of biocellulose. Biocellulose, we grow it. It takes 45 days to grow. There's a fermentation process. So this material, without anything on it, was created for burn victims. It can pull all the heat from the skin, and it acts like a second skin. So you can feel heat coming through, but to you it feels nice and cool, right?
Mm-hmm.
So during the protocol, if you want to use the Dr. Dennis Gross light over there, you can. Make sure you save some solution. This mask or this pack is full of liquid gold. So what I do right here is once I get the mask on and situated, I'm going to then take this, unless I'm doing the LED light. If I'm doing the LED light, red's the only light that can get through. Blue and green, biocellulose, those are superficial lights. They do work, but not over biocellulose. Red light can get through. Not full strength, but enough to still have therapeutic. In all of our videos, we show opening this package and pouring it on. Oh, I need to do the neck mask. Pouring it on the neck mask, but you're not always doing the neck mask. So I'll show you how to fold that and keep it in my hands. Neck mask, you partnered at just the time where this is either going to come in 1 piece or it's going to come in 2 pieces. The new one's the 2 pieces, but that doesn't mean these are old. It just means you're right in between the time where we have some shipping out that are the new. So it will still come in 1 packet, but this neck piece will be separate from the décolleté piece. So same as the face mask.
What did you say before? Blue sky up?
Blue towards the sky.
Blue towards the sky.
Because the blue pieces you're going to take off. If the blue piece is on the bottom, you're missing the point of the biocellulose. So what I do, because this, when it's a single piece, it's so big, is I fold the neck over so that I'm just holding this, and I'll place that right on the décolleté. You're good. And then I'll fold this up to kind of fit it. Some people like it right up against the chin. Sometimes I like to wrap it a little bit more around the neck. What's great about it being in 2 pieces is it's gonna fit anybody better. This, I still really liked this. It wasn't even until we did it in 2 pieces where I'm like, that is actually nicer. But same formulation, same shape, just a little bit easier to customize. Or if you're working on somebody with a sunburn and you need to cover a different part of the body.
It does look like a second skin.
It's really like a second skin, and so I just make sure I tuck it. That's good. Okay. So now, what we show in all of our videos is pouring it right here. It sits right in that little gap, but we don't always use the neck mask in all of your treatments. So what I would do is I would fold this in half, and then I would roll it up like you would a toothpaste tube from the bottom. And what's happening is all of this liquid gold is coming to the surface. And when I get about right there, I then squeeze it in my hands and get everything out. But because I rolled it from the bottom, I will have all of that product. Now, this is gonna go right over this mask. So you're gonna feel this. to them, it's a really nice sensation. They just feel like you're getting the mask wet, but you're adding more of that liquid gold. I go right over, it goes right through the biocellulose without running down. How did that feel?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a dose of, big drink of water for the face, right? So,
Super hydrated.
yeah. And you have a ton of it. Okay, if you want to put this on your arms, you can, but get it on theirs first. So sometimes what I'll do if I really want to work this onto the arms is before I put it on the face, I'll massage the arms. But you have a ton of this, okay? Today I'm going to treat myself. It's a lot. So when they do this at home, I tell them, yes, it's a mask for the face, but do it after your bath or your shower, and then take that blue piece that's fully saturated and do a full body serum application.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And then what I do is I tell them, put the mask on, wait 15 minutes, add all the solution, wait 15 more minutes, so a total of 30. The skin will look like glass. That's at home. You don't have 30 minutes in the protocol. So get the extra solution on, and now we're going to come back to these. For the most part, unless you're doing a neck and décolleté add-on, you're only going to have the face piece, but this is going to be your hand treatment. So what I do is I tear, because the nose is pretty much in the middle, I just tear it at the nose. It's okay if one's bigger than the other, they don't see this. Again, keep it on the plastic. So what I would do is you have the sheet on top. Now, I'll demonstrate one side so that you can see it. Again, you wouldn't have to pick up bottles, you would just reach over and get a pump. I'm using about a dime size. And this is where so really getting the mask on the skin, because 10 minutes is the least amount of time to be on the skin. 15 is ideal. At home, there's no time clock working against you. People are like, can I sleep in it? I was like, you can. It's very startling when you wake up to that next to you on the pillow.
Warn your spouse.
Or, yeah, exactly. So with this, you're going to do the arm and hand massage with the cleansing oil. So this is where you're going to do all of your massage, because later you're going to put lipid body treatment on. Lipid body treatment is not a massage medium. If you put enough of that on to massage, it'll feel sticky. It's a big, using more product for your guest isn't helping. It changes their experience with the line. You just use more product to cover a larger surface area. So do your massage with the cleansing oil, because how many times do people tell you they don't want to leave feeling greasy?
Right.
So now we're going to emulsify this and remove it. And so we've massaged, but we've also cleansed the skin so we can apply lipid body treatment, so we can introduce them to another product that they may really love. Now, in the 50-minute, you would just do that massage. In the 80-minute, this is a brightening treatment. So we already have the oil on. We don't need to mix it in a bowl like we did for the face, because we're just different part of the body, a little easier. So what I do is I just put a little bit of powder in my hand. This powder is really loose. If I were to just go like this, it would poof everywhere. So I kind of gently get it in my hands. Again, my hands are dry, they just have oil on it. And you're gonna do a little bit of an arm treatment. The oil will cause it to stick on the skin. And you're just going to, it will feel a little grittier because we didn't mix it in a ton of oil. But on the body, this is a lot different than it is on the face. So you can be a little bit more aggressive. Remember, the scrubbing isn't the part that's activating it. We need to activate that with water. If you have, you can just get a little bit of water in your bowl on your hands and do it. I'll need one more towel. If you guys decide to get these, you'll have these. If you use these, don't just spray them. I kind of put my hand there and I follow it, so it's not just sliding around. But as you see, you can see the enzyme gets real milky. Again, I'm not massaging that in, I'm just activating it. These are really hot. And this part feels really good. Again, you'll be doing this in the 50-minute. You're just going to use this to remove the oil. You might even get away with one towel. If you massage both arms and then did quick compression over here and quick compression, but you know, if not, 2 towels. Is that temperature okay?
Mm-hmm.
This feels good. So for those of you who maybe don't love massaging, you can do a couple really good strokes with the oil, but they're still gonna feel like they're getting a lot because of the steam towel. So again, the only difference between the 50 and the 80 is the 80 you're actually using the enzyme, and the 50 you're just using the oil.
In the description, I'm going to call it an arm refresh.
There you go. It'll be great. Like, I have keratosis pilaris. This isn't a sunburn. This is inflammation from KP. So at home, I use the enzyme on the back of my arms.
Oh. Nice.
Yeah, everybody's always like, you got sunburn, you have a farmer's tan. I'm like, it's KP. So you've cleansed the arm / massaged the arm.
Forgot.
And now you're going to put the hand treatment on, all while the mask is doing its job up here. Okay, you're not just trying to stare at the mask and be like, what do I do for 10 or 15 minutes? There's a lot to do. So if you just had the face mask, you're just going to wrap that around the hand. If you did the face and the neck mask because you upgraded them, you don't need to tear the face mask. You would just fold the face mask and put it on, and then you would fold the neck mask and put it on. I've seen people leave this hole and have it go up the arm. It defeats kind of the purpose, because when you do that, this dries really quickly. When you do this, it's concentrated on the hand for a hand treatment. Now they don't look the same, but they feel the same for them, okay? So now,
Pardon me?
your hands are done, and now you're gonna come in with the gloves.
Yay.
We'll treat her. Just so that we
Oh,
don't let
more
this
serum.
go to waste. It's a little tricky when you do it this way because it will pool right in the neck, but you still have to be ready to move pretty quickly so it doesn't run down like that.
The 80 minutes going to be 265, and then like each of those add-ons I think would be 20, so then it would be 295 if you did the, so like say if you have somebody and you want to do all that, you could just, it's 295, we'll do your neck, décolleté, eye treatment.
So I'm just taking the extra solution. Because if you think about it, we've cleaned the arms. Bless you. Thank you.
Oh wait, that's 305 actually.
This is actually
Is
great
it?
too.
Sorry.
You can bring this into the scalp if you want. It doesn't leave it oily. It's actually really great for the scalp, the TSC is. And you can work it in if you want. Kind of trying to get in the scalp and not just rubbing this on the hair. But it's not oil, so you're gonna get all of that anti-inflammatory, which is good for the scalp, but it's not gonna leave them greasy. Now you can use the globes. I find that the globes go over really nicely once you add a little bit more of that solution. You do want to try and get that solution on as soon as you can because it's a lot of work after trying to get it to work in. So with the globes, these are self-cooling. They spin. They have botanical biofreeze or antifreeze in there. So as they move, they get cold. You can also put them in a skincare fridge or the freezer. If you put them in ice, you want to make sure that the ice doesn't melt, and you don't want this bearing where it spins. You don't want that soaking in water. You never want to soak these in barbicide. Don't soak them or they'll rust out and they won't move for you. So I usually start, and again, you can freestyle this. I'm going to show you what I do. I start at the temples and I just do very simple movements in and out. How do those feel?
Great.
It like enhances the coldness. I just start with really easy movements in and out. And if the mask is catching, it usually means maybe it got a little drier there. So I just do in and out, and I'm kind of distributing the cold And I'm getting used to kind of feeling, you can go up and down. I'm trying to get the feeling of the contours of her face. And then I can go in and I can get a little bit more specific with my work. But this is kind of spreading the coolness. I personally don't like to clash them. They're not glass, so they're not going to break. But I think sometimes this is distracting unless you're doing it on a consistent basis. So you can also go 2 globes to one side and figure out how you want to get to the other side. I usually leave 1 globe in contact. And then I like to do a little bit deeper. So with this bottom globe, I'm going to do almost a contour, but the more pressure you use, the slower you go. The top globe is just kind of staying out of the way. Pressure out. How's that pressure? Feels good. Light pressure in. More pressure out, contour. Light pressure in, come to the other side. Again, you would do the 2 globes and then deeper pressure out, lighter pressure in. Deeper pressure out, lighter pressure in. This globe on the forehead is just there. I'm not really doing anything with it. She's got a lot of tension in her jaw, so I would probably go in with my hands over the mask and do that after the globes. So you can also, if you have the neck mask on, you can bring the globes down below. It feels really good on the chest right here. And to you, it's going to be like, I'm just going in and out. But to them, it actually feels really, really good. Okay, so you're going to do this as long as time allows. Sometimes we look up at the clock and we're like, oh my goodness, I needed to be done 5 minutes ago. And sometimes we look up at the clock and we're like, oh my goodness, I still have 5 full minutes left. These, as long as you wipe them with alcohol over 70% and wipe the silicone after you have clean hands, then wipe your silicone stoppers. These are to keep them from rolling around. They're sanitized, but you don't need to soak them. So again, I'm just trying to get this mask to sit on as long as possible. So if someone wants to help me out on that side, you won't have an assistant in the room
Logan
after today. But you're just going to take this off and you're just going to kind of work that solution into the hand area. Do you see the difference from where the blue was?
Right here.
Yeah. And again, you've already done the massage. This is just getting that solution into the hands. Okay, perfect. Again, you're just killing as much time before you remove this mask. Now I am going to show this part even though we're going a little over, but there's fewer of us in this afternoon session, so we'll still have time. You can massage over this. So I like to do the eye area. I think it feels really good. And the reason I save this massage towards the end is because in the beginning, the mask is sitting where it needs to sit. If you start doing this, it's going to move around a little bit, so I save it for the end. I love to come up here and do these pressure points. Is that pressure okay for you?
Mm-hmm.
And while I'm holding the pressure point, I'm releasing the corrugators, the what?
Nice.
WTFs, the 11s. And then I like to do a brow release. Now, I only go to mid-brow because out here you start to pinch fine skin.
Mm-hmm.
You can also do a release where you're holding the point up here and you're staying right in between the nasal bone and the cheekbone. There's this soft part here that feels really good when you kind of drain that down. Is that pressure okay?
Mm-hmm.
And this would maybe feel weird if the mask wasn't on, but because you're working over the mask, it feels very specific and intentional. And people like that. You can also come down and I'll kind of feel for her cheekbone here. And at the lowest part of the cheekbone, I'm going to kind of anchor in and I'm going to pull up slightly towards me and release.
So is this what you recommend doing if the 15 minutes weren't fully up?
Yeah. Or maybe you got the mask on early because maybe there wasn't a lot of extractions. The longer the mask is on, the better. I tend to work backwards from the clock. So if it's a 50-minute treatment, when I see that I have 20 to 25 minutes left, I need to get the mask on the skin. That way, I still have about 5 minutes if the mask sat on for the full time. Then I look at the clock, and when I have 3 to 5 minutes left, I take the mask off because I don't have to wash anything after this. I'm literally pressing this in and doing my finishing product, so I don't need a ton of time. It's not like a cream mask or a gel mask where I have to have time to remove it. This is quickly removed and pressed into the skin. So this is all great for the 80-minute, or if you find that you're like, wow, I got through that pretty fast, I can still pamper them while the mask is on, because the longer the mask is on, the better. And now she has a lot of tension in her jaw. Anytime you're gonna work that masseter, so if you put your teeth together and clench and you touch your face, that part that pops out, that's the masseter muscle. It's one of our strongest muscles in the body per size. We can close our front teeth by about 50 pounds and our back teeth by 200.
Wow.
It's a very strong muscle for its size. It also holds a ton of tension. If you work on it, check in on the pressure and go very slow. Does that feel okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's a wonderful way to kind of release the entire face, but you do need to check in with them because it can make someone jump off the table if you go a little too hard. So I always remove side to side. I also like that if I have the eye mask underneath, I can kind of grab the edge of the eye mask, and then when I pull side to side, I'm usually pretty lucky in that the other side sticks with it. And you can remove it however you want. I just don't like to accidentally drop it back on the face, because her face, this feels warm in my hands, but her face feels very cool to the touch. So if you were trying to get this off and it went back on, it's not a pleasant feeling. I know I had to do it for a photo shoot one time. They're like, can you put that mask back on? I'm like,
No.
sure. But it was like warm. And my model was kind of like, I'm like, all right, well, now we got it. So any extra solution, work it into the skin. You do not need the serum if you applied the mask. The solution in the mask is the serum.
They're ruining my video.
Okay. Now, during the 50-minute, you have a choice whether you want to apply Hyvia or Arctogenin. If you really want to pamper them, you can do both. It's a difference of like 10 or 12 cents or something.
Right.
So you can figure that out.
Okay.
If you're going to layer Arctogenin brightening treatment, we're going to do a little refresh at the end of today too. This is lighter weight. It can be layered like a serum, or it can be used as a standalone product at home, or a finishing product in the facial. So I'm going to do about a pump and a half, or a large pea size amount is going to be enough for the face, the neck, and the décolleté, especially after that lipid recovery mask, because they're like fully marinated at this point. So I had somebody ask in the last group, do you press it or pat it or massage it? I'm spreading it. If you're massaging it, we're kind of warming the skin back up, or we maybe used way too much product. So even though the brightening treatment's safe around the eye area, a lot of people like a richer feeling eye cream. So if you're using Arctogenin as your finishing product, I would still go in with Hyvia for your eye cream. Or if you're gonna layer them, you're gonna take a pea size of Hyvia. I'm not being stingy. This is enough for the face, neck, and décolleté and the eyes. I put it on the back of my hand so that I don't have to get back into the jar. And I apply a little tiny bit, like a size of a piece of rice or quarter size of a piece of rice. And I apply this like an eye cream. You don't need to see a ton of cream. This is sliding without, I think we used a lot of product the last round. And again, it's not about being stingy. Nobody wants to leave a facial feeling like they need to wipe their face off. So I still have quite a bit of product left. Again, I'm gonna kind of just get it. I'm not gonna work it into the forehead and work it down. I'm gonna get it everywhere I need to get it, and then I'm gonna spread it. Okay, now there's gonna be a time when you're applying Hyvia. And you'll notice I didn't put it right over her lips, but I go right over the lips. The solution from the mask, the brightening treatment, the Hyvia, because none of it tastes bad, but it's really good for the lips. But I would never just take Hyvia and then put it on the lips that way. I just add it when I get it so they feel like their lips are addressed. There's going to be a moment when you're applying Hyvia. Do you see how my hands gripping to her face or it feels tacky, I avoid sticky, tacky, or grippy. I tell them this during the facial because they're going to touch their face. They always do, no matter what we tell them. But by the time they touch their face, Hybea is already absorbed into the skin. So I want them to feel when I'm doing this, and I'll say, I just put the Epicutis Hybea cream on you. It's different than moisturizers. A lot of other moisturizers are meant to sit on the surface. This is going to penetrate. So there's going to be a moment when you put it on where you're going to feel like it's a little grippy. Do you see how it's already less? Usually by the time you're done talking to them, it feels less tacky. Okay, so I have to press really hard to get it to stick. So you've got that on.
It almost looks like it mattified a little bit.
It does. So it's not almost a matte. It's like almost like a velvet. So they still feel hydrated, but it absorbs into the skin. So people will tell you it's like hydration that they haven't experienced before. But I don't want them to get home and think that you used a different product on them or that they did it wrong or that something's wrong with their product. So I tell them in the facial, but look, she's barely. Now, lipid body treatment. This does not go on the face. It's for the neckline down. I save it for last. If you want to let the mask sit on longer and you want to put this on the arms after you take the blue pieces off, you can, but you must wash your hands before you come up and start pressing on the face. This has 10 times the concentration of that Botox flower and caffeine. It's too strong for the face, but it also has lychee, and we don't want to break up any adipose on the face. That would take multiple applications, but more if you have somebody with sensitive skin and this accidentally gets on the face, even if it's just on your hands, you could cause redness. So you need very little of this product. It's about, oh, I forgot I dropped this. It's about there we go. It's about a pea size amount for the arm, right? Maybe a bigger pea, and then definitely just a pea size amount. So we're hardly using any of this. This is not a massage medium, it's an application. Jawline down. It's incredible for firming the neck and décolleté, and we'll get into this. And then you have enough, again, you've already done the massage. So this is more of an application. I mean, I normally would come around the side of the table, but since we're all in here, I like to end with this. Because then I can tell them that they have the firming body treatment on.
Right.
So it shouldn't feel thick. It looks like a cream. It applies like a gel. You want it to absorb right into the skin. How are you feeling? Good. Then you would put your preferred sunscreen on until our sunscreen is out. I'll show you our sunscreen today, but that's not till August. And then you would do 2 more mists to end it. Maybe 3. This is sprayer, is temporary. There's by the time you sell through what you have out there, there'll be a new sprayer on the top. Same formulation, same bottle, everything. This feels like glass. This is recycled plastic because we want them to travel with us, so we didn't want to make this glass. Now, because we want this like in their purse and stuff. The other mist is more of a hydrosol, so you'll need more pumps, but it'll be a lot finer. I liked this one, but it was a temporary. So how are we feeling?
Good.
Good? You feel good?
Mm-hmm.